Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Jata Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitang Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitangscha Om Ajnana Timrandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksur Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Jai Saparikar Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandhar Radha Govinda Sundar Ji Ki Jai Jai Srila Bhakti Bimal Avadhut Maharaj Avirbhav Mahamahotsava Ki Jai Veda Vyas Ki Jai Shri Guru Sanatan Goswami Prabhu Tirubhav Mahamahotsava Ki Jai What? Oh, Chaturmasya, beginning of Chaturmasya. Vijayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajaka Acharya Saterasada Sri Srimad Srila Bhakti Bimal Avadhut Maharaj Avirbhav Mahamahotsava Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So it's not a coincidence that Srila Adbhut Maharaj's appearance day is on the Sri Guru Purnima, the appearance day of Veda Vyas. This day is also known as Sri Vyas Puja. We're worshipping the inspired side of the Vaishnava Guru as Guru, but we're telling it's Vyas Puja. So that informs us that what we are concerned with is revealed truth. When Srila Guru Maharaj was preaching, and he said that one man came up to him, having heard him speak, and said, if the finite can know the infinite, he's not infinite. And actually, it's something worth considering. He's saying, finite people, no matter how developed they might be, intellectually, educationally, scientifically, the sum total of the finite is never equal to the infinite. And that one finite can grasp the infinite? Said, no, he may, in relation to other finite, exceed them, to the point that we're saying genius or Einstein, Newton. Einstein has become synonymous with extreme genius, some extraordinary capacity to appreciate the infinite. But to know the sum total of the infinite, he's saying, if the infinite can be known by the finite, then he's not infinite. Right? Yashoda trying to bind Krishna, always dvi anguli, 2 inches too short. We can say it represents finite endeavor. But how is the finite hope to capture the infinite? When Krishna sees her motherly affection, that she has his interest at heart, that she's utterly absorbed in love and affection for him, then by the Damodar, by the ropes of love and affection, he is bound. Rupa Goswami says, Atak Shri Krishna Namadi Nabhaved Grahyam Indriye. The name of Krishna, the form of Krishna, the qualities of Krishna, the pastimes of Krishna cannot be perceived, grasped by mind or intellect. Right? But sevan mukhe hijavado shayameva spurtira. But when the same senses that fall short in assessing the infinite are infused with serving tendency, then the infinite may consent to come under, not only be realized by the finite, but to come under control. Sri Krishna Karshini Chasa. This is the wonders of Krishna Prem, divine love. So actually, what the man was saying was a half-truth, tenable. If the infinite can be known by the finite, he's not infinite. But Guru Maharaj's response provides the basis for all theistic culture and consideration. He said, if the infinite cannot make himself known to the finite, he's not infinite. So the onus is on the infinite. He can make him, if he chooses to make himself known to the finite, then the finite can know. Otherwise, by finite means, cannot know. So he kept intact what the man said, but took it to another level, the other half of that truth. If the infinite wants to make himself known to the finite, nothing can obstruct that. So the Upanishads, Nayamatma pravachanena labdyo na medaya na bahuna shrutena tam evaishas vinute tena labhyas tashaisha atma vivrinute tanum atma tanum swam. He reveals himself to whom he chooses, through whom he chooses. So what it points to is revealed truth, right? Amnai, revealed truth. What is given by Veda Vyas is not what his assessed or of the observable world, and he's made certain observations that he would like to share with us that may be helpful for our navigating the mundane. Right? In the famous Gita sloka, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprajnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. Who should we approach? The tattvadarshi. Means those who, they're having darshan of the truth. And the truth here is not an abstract thing. The truth is personal. Right? We're told in the Bhagavatam, when at the conclusion of Krishna's pastimes, in summary, that when the eyes saw Krishna, they didn't want to see anything else. The ears hearing the sound, they went through all the different senses, reached their ultimate satisfaction and Krishna conception, and saying, so when those eyes want to see nothing other than the form of Shyama Sundar Krishna, then Krishna gives them prem. Right? So, tattvadarshi, you hear the word often, darshan, for like to go see or to be seen. And Srila Guru Maharaj said, within this really is the root of the word rishi. That the rishis, like drishi, means they're seeing, experiencing the truth. Again, not an abstract, impersonal truth, but the supreme personality of Godhead. Right? And they're translating, their mediums for, their proper mediums to convey that experience to others. So it's revelation. It is revealed truth. Amnaya prahatatvam harim iha paramam sarvashaktim rasabdim, etc. So the first point is the infinite making itself known to the finite, and that means revealed truth. And the ultimate giver of revealed truth is Veda Vyas. So we hear he collected all these divine scriptures and Puranic literature and Veda, Shruti, Smriti, everything. And you would think that's enough. He's done the greatest service to human civilization, because it means from the perfect world, the sound representation coming from the perfect world into the imperfect world, the misconceived world, to allow people to connect with that, come under its influence, and transition from the world of imperfection to the perfect world. So it's still at the beginning of the Bhagavatam, his magnum opus, right, the masterwork of Veda Vyas, we're told what is his condition? He's feeling despondent. Right? He's the giver of all the revealed truth, and he's feeling despondent. And his ashram, Badarik ashram, the current of the Saraswati is descending from there, and Nard Muni comes upon the scene and says, my dear Prabhu, what is the problem here? And he's saying, although I've given all these, Veda, Shruti, etc., I'm feeling that I've not done really the divine service. And Narada said, yes, because you did not clearly indicate to people that it's not just how to navigate the material world successfully, but there's another world beyond this world, and you have a life of dignity in the pramic world, the world of Krishna. So what you need to do now is to present unadulterated, unalloyed, pure Krishna conception. You've presented so many things that people can, it wasn't your intention, but inadvertently, they've got the idea that they can use religion to serve their lower purpose, as opposed to being irresistibly drawn into Krishna conception and offering yourself in service to that, and realizing, as Guru said, a life of love in the divine world, in the pastimes of Krishna. So the very beginning of the Bhagavatam, Dharmak Projita Kaita Botra, he's saying, this book, there will be no Kaitava Dharma, means religion with some underlying motive. That won't be presented here. But, how do you say, the purest of the pure. And toward the end, what does he say? We should say in the beginning. So he's saying, so everything comes from the Radha and Krishna conception, and the ultimate fruit of the tree of Vedic literature, Nigama Kalpataror Galitam Palam Shukamukharam Ritradavrishamritam Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Mahuraho Rasika Bhuvibhavakaha. The fully ripened fruit of the mature tree of Vedic literature is the Madhura Rasa pastimes of Krishna, right? That Eros and its highest and purest expression is in the pastimes of divinity. So he's saying, this sweet nectarine juice, this is what this whole tree of Vedic literature with all of its branches, sub-branches, trunks, sub-branches, branches, etc., is meant to deliver this fruit, which is Madhura Rasa, the sweet pastimes of Krishna. Right? And toward the end of the Bhagavatam, he says, and Sarva Vedantam Saram Hi, it's the creme de la creme of all Vedantic understanding. Sri Bhagavatam Ishite Tad Rasamrita Triptasya, and once you've tasted this nectarine substance, Nanyatra Shad Rati Kvachit, you'll lose all attraction for anything else. So that Vyasadeva, his gift to the world really is Krishna conception. And what is at the heart of Krishna conception, truly? Yadamyam Mahima Sri Bhagavatam Katayam Pratipatam Anubhutam Apya Labdavideya Tarakila Rasa Murti Shamalila Avalambam Madhura Rasadi Sri Radha Padmam Prapade Pada Padmam Prapade. Although her name is not mentioned ostensibly, at every step of the way, it is meant to take us in the direction of the service of her holy lotus feet. Shamalila Avalambam, all the sweet pastimes of Krishna are dependent upon her. That means Srimati Radharani. Priya Paramahansanam Tadeva Hyachuta Priya, Achuta Priya, the one who is most dear to Krishna, meaning Srimati Radharani. So that nectarine substance we hear in the prayers of Raghunath Das Goswami. He says that because I'm blind, I couldn't see or appreciate what this was. But Sanatan Goswami Prabhu, he's so kind, Vairagya Yug Bhakti Rasa Prayatne Apayayam Manabipsamandam Kripam Buddhir Yat Paraduka Duki Sanatanastvam Prabhum Asrayami. His, Gopi Bhava Rasamrita Dila, he's drowning in an ocean of Gopi Bhav, personally, internally. So he is in a never-ending ecstatic state. But seeing others for want of connection with this divine substance, that bothers him. That gives some pain in his heart to see the condition of suffering souls. And he's saying, and I being one of them, very mercifully and blind by my misreading of this world and my ultimate identity, he very mercifully, forcibly made me drink this medicine, this nectarine substance. We heard in the beginning of the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam, Nivrittatar Shayarupagi Yamanad Bhavoshida Srotra Manobhiramat. When Srila Maharaj fasting for 7 days, not drinking water, eating nothing, and Sukadev keeps talking, he's saying, are you getting tired or thirsty? And Parikshit Maharaj says, no, what you're giving me, I'm drinking this nectarine substance, and I'm not tired, I'm feasting on the nectarine substance you're giving me. And what I'm in wonder of is normally the medicine that cures a disease is not very tasteful. It's some terrible thing, and you have to force yourself. See, but here, it's very sweet and a wonderful medicine, and it's delighting my mind, senses, my soul, everything. So Raghunath Das Goswami, he's portraying himself this way, saying, and that sweet nectarine, something I didn't understand what it was because I'm blind by nature. What is the primal guru mantra? Om Jnana Timirandasya. There are cataracts. The cataract is eyes of ignorance, preventing us from seeing things properly. Sri Gurudev comes to remove that. So Das Goswami is saying, and what was Sanatan Goswami's Prabhu's method? He forced me to drink this. And Guru Maharaj gave the example. He said sometimes the veterinarian, they need a horse to take some medicine, and it's not easy thing to do. So they put it on a stick or something, and then people hold the horse, and then they shove it down. He's saying that's what Raghunath Das Goswami is saying. Sanatan Goswami is so merciful, he forced me to drink this nectarine substance. And we hear that Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, according to his early followers, that when he was preaching to them about Mahaprabhu's Krishna conception, that he's pounding the table, his face is flushed red, Guru said, looking like a beautiful pink lotus flower, and he's ranting and raving about Krishna conception. And one of the earliest followers, Saki Charan Maharaj, said, we could not understand everything he was saying. He said, but one thing I could understand is that he was forcibly trying to make us taste some nectarine substance. That I knew. But I could not understand everything that was being said. So, in the pursuit of Krishna conception, Mahaprabhu, when he's explaining to Rupa Goswami how the infinite makes himself known to the finite, he's saying, in this world, the world of misconception, from gross to subtle forms of misconception. That's the basis of the formation of the planetary systems. It says there's 84 lakhs of species, 8,400,000 varieties of species, like RGB, red, yellow, blue, Tama, Raja, Sattva, by these modes, millions of different combinations. So he's saying he begins this way to explain to Rupa Goswami. He's saying, well, what does that have to do with the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu? We'll get there gradually. So Mahaprabhu begins by saying, the length and breadth of this ocean is infinite, but I'll take a drop and explain that to you. And that's where he begins, by saying, so there's so many different species of life in this world, and then among them, from the aquatics, plants, insects, birds, beasts, at last there's human society. And within human society, there are people who appreciate revealed truth and regulate their lives with regard to that, and people who do not. So then he makes allusion to Veda. And then he's saying, but within this world, Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. Those who are Sukritivan, who have extreme good fortune, wandering the length and breadth of the world of misconception, they come in connection with Krishna's agent, Sri Guru. And what do they receive from him? The Bhakti Lata Bij, the seed of Krishna conception. Right? In that sense, it is a conceptual seed. Stane stita shrutigatam tanuvan manobir. By hearing from the agent, Krishna conception lands in the heart of the fortunate receiver. And then gradually, by continued hearing and serving, it begins to develop and fully express itself until at last Krishna conception claims the whole heart. So we see that in the life of Srila Adbhut Maharaj, that his searching for this agent of connection, right? And ironically, early on, the name Sridhar appeared. So should he connect with Sridhar? Right? That's an interesting side point, right? So he's moving in a particular direction. And someone who had appreciation for Srila Sridhar Maharaj told him that if you really want the perfect connection, there is the favorite disciple of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, who he's transferred his full wealth to, who is Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj. And he will be appearing here soon. And my advice, and this was a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, but who saw that maybe his real connection will be realized in this line. So he said, in good faith, I recommend you, Jai Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev, to connect with Srila Govinda Maharaj. So Srila Adbhut Maharaj, he goes to Srila Gurudev and recognizes him as his eternal spiritual master, and as is appropriate, saying, what service do you want from me? Sometimes Srila Prabhupada Swami Maharaj would say, I only ask my Guru Maharaj one question. How can I serve you? Right. So Srila Adbhut Maharaj said to Srila Gurudev, I have a question. What is that? How can I serve you? And what does Srila Gurudev tell him? He's saying, you take Srila Guru Maharaj and his conception to Russia. At that time, Adbhut Maharaj is living in New York and very successful there, and not really thinking about returning to Russia. So this comes as a big surprise to him. Srila Gurudev is saying, you're asking for service? I say, if you take Srila Guru Maharaj and his conception to Russia, that will be most pleasing to me. So immediately, he thinks, what is the essence of Srila Guru Maharaj? That means the books of Srila Guru Maharaj, which contain his conceptions, like Search for Sri Krishna, Reality of the Beautiful, Golden Volcano of Divine Love, but more specifically, Sri Guru and His Grace. So he's thinking, that's what we should do. We should print Sri Guru and His Grace. And he has Vijay Raman Prabhu initiated by Srila Gurudev, Satya Sundar Prabhu initiated by Srila Gurudev. So Vijay Raman Prabhu is in Russia and begins the translation of Sri Guru and His Grace. And I like to refer to him as the father of the Russian mission. Right? So, and we see when on this Vyas Puja day in Lakta, that although he's the father, so in one context, parents, they're also considered guru. So he is guru, meaning the guru varga, mother, father, and so on. But you will see on this day, who is the father in the objective world, he will give Shastanga Dandavats and bow down at the lotus feet of Srila Adbhut Maharaj and transcend the father-son identity, Hare Krishna. And recognizing here is superior devotion, superior capacity, and I bow myself here. So by the time I came there, when I had been to Russia previously, in 1978, we were preaching more general Krishna conception at that time. So I was surprised to return in the year 2000. And remember, one of the first talks that I gave there, I asked, are there any questions? And someone from the audience says, in Sri Guru and His Grace, Srila Sridhar Maharaj says, can you explain that? And I must say, that was a moment for me. I said, like, what? Srila Sridhar Maharaj and Sri Guru and His Grace, he says this, can you please explain that? I thought, this amazing trajectory of like a general Krishna conception to now we're discussing openly Srila Guru Maharaj and his conceptions. So, Srila Adbhut Maharaj always arranging programs to promote Srila Guru Maharaj's conception, to please Srila Gurudev, and always operating in the background, not putting himself forward, but myself or other preachers, always arranging some big program and then asking us to take the seat and give the principal talk, the principal explanations. So, like, for those who know, at Kuznetsky Most, there's this art center there, and a, what do you call it? Consortium of artists throughout. And he would arrange this annual exhibition. And there's like the central stage, the prime time, this, that, the other, And he's arranging all of that in disguise. So I would notice, like, I would get the best time to go on the stage and talk to everybody. And when my time was up, he would come in as the manager and say, well, I think he can speak longer. And he would arrange that. And I've mentioned sometimes that not every program was immediately successful. So much so that sometimes you could wonder, like, what are we doing? We're arranging some big place and 50, 60 people are coming, but it's a place for 500. And and I would notice, like, out of the 50, 30, 40 were our people, another 10 were like from ISKCON, and then there was like a small group of just insane people who show up at these events. So sometimes we would look at each other and say, we do the program, like Prabhupada used to say, when they'd say, oh, Prabhupada, we're sorry so many people didn't come. He'd say, oh, didn't you see Narad Muni was there? And he would name all these different divine personalities. And that would make all the devotees feel very good, like, oh. So sometimes we would think, look, we do the program regardless of how many people come, because that's what we do. We try to glorify Krishna and his devotees, Guru Gauranga, Radha Govinda, and their entourage. But I could see that Maharaj wanted it to be known that really he had a plan, a program, and if things would just be right, there would be a huge response. So once we were in Zaporizhia, actually, in Ukraine, and there's this huge theater been rented and a giant exhibition. And on the way there in the car, I found myself in a traffic jam. And I was thinking, like, there must be like a rock concert or something going on, because I'd never seen this kind of traffic except for something like that. When we arrived, I found out the traffic jam was for our program. Right? So I was like, oh. And when I went inside, there was this theater that sat around 2,000 people. He had to ask someone to get up to give me a seat. There were no seats, waiting to go on stage. And then on stage, in one of his many disguises, there was Avadhut Maharaj and Indu Baladidi and like the master and mistress of ceremonies and conducting the whole program. And then I was invited onto the stage to speak to this standing room only theater of people dressed very nicely. And afterwards I looked at Maharaj, he looked at me, and he sort of said, like, I know what I'm doing. Like, I have a program. And when everything is going just right, you see, this is the kind of result that we can get. Leading Srila Gurudev to say that when he attended so many programs arranged by Avadhut Maharaj, whether in Petersburg or Moscow, once he arranged a program in Moscow that 50,000 people were scheduled to attend. And the local authorities found out about it, and they told him, we're going to shut this down. You can't have this program. And he said to them, well, he knows how to operate there also. They don't scare him. And he said, all right, you can do that, but if you do, it's going to look really bad in the media. You're going to get a lot of bad press for shutting this down. But we can compromise. What about if it's 20,000 people? And they said, all right, well, that you can do. But there can't be any like religious discussions. Like, oh, okay. It'd be completely cultural. So we're there. I was with Srila Gurudev, and he's taking some notes on a napkin in Bengali. He's writing little things. And the Indian ambassador comes, and it's supposed to be like Indian cultural festival. There's Bharatanatyam dancing, singing this, that, the other thing. And there's 25,000 people there. And Srila Adbhut Maharaj comes and apologizes to Gurudev that there aren't 50,000 people. And Gurudev, yes, Maharaj. And then Gurudev takes the stage. Remember, you're not supposed to say anything religious, what to speak about Krishna. And so Gurudev, he's got his napkin, and he said, so I'm very happy to be here and with you all and celebrate this wonderful Indian cultural festival. He said, but it is impossible to conceive of Indian culture without Krishna. But it was so sweet that even though, everyone just became happy, right? So yes, and at the opening of the Jagannath Express restaurant, the first time I saw it, it looked like a building that had been bombed. And Maharaj is moving amongst the rubble and shows me this kitchen equipment machine. He goes, you know, this costs $20,000. And I said to him, I'm just getting to know him. I said, oh, does anyone know how to use it? And he said, my uncle. He used to, work in a 4-star restaurant in New York. I went, oh, okay. Then I went off to preach for a month. When I came back later, it was ready for the opening, the full opening of Jagannath Express. Later became, such a brand. And Gurudev was there, and the press all come, and they're surrounding Gurudev and putting the microphones. And Avadhut Maharaj says to Gurudev, he said, just say, you're a guru and you came from India and you're blessing everybody. And Gurudev looks and he goes, Hare Krishna. He goes, I am a guru, I'm coming from India and I want to bless all of the Russian people. And that's on the news that evening. So everybody's happy. And so one event after another, Srila Gurudev sees thousands, tens of thousands people embracing Krishna consciousness, leading him to say that he said some mysterious power works on his behalf, like how he's doing all of these things. And one thing of particular note that really pleased him was that we know the long history of so-called atheism, right, from 1917. In that regard, one thing I read that was very interesting from Alexander Solzhenitsyn, telling about those times, they would have arguments in Red Square, like the Orthodox priests against the atheists, back and forth. And there'd be thousands of people there to hear those talks. And one of them, the challenge was, they said, you worship icons. When you go to St. Basil's Cathedral there, you see all the, when I first went, it said, in 1978, it said museum. Right? It was called a museum. And you had to pay 50 kopecks to enter. But I'd see people put the 50 kopecks in the box and then go like this, and then go, and I realized, oh, they're praying. They're not going to the museum. And then there are so many icons, those famous paintings. So that was the challenge from the Bolsheviks. You're idolaters. It's idolatry what you're doing. And the leader of the Russian Orthodox priests, Solzhenitsyn, responded by saying, to worship anything less than God as God is idolatry. You understand? To worship that which is less than God as God is idolatry. Right? Anyway, so so that history was there. When I first met Srila Guru Maharaj in person, I first heard his divine voice in 1978, but a year later I was at his lotus feet for first meeting where he told, we must convert ourselves into a proper medium. And when he asked what service you do, we mentioned preaching in Eastern Europe and sometimes visiting Russia. And he said, there was a cloud of atheism looming over the Soviet Union. And he said, and Swami Maharaj went there, Srila Prabhupada. That famous picture you see of him in Red Square, like there's no people, it's early in the morning, he's going for his morning walk. And he's saying, and because of his Maha Bhagavata presence, the cloud of atheism, it lifted. Right? like Krishna Swadamo Bhagate Dharma Jnani, and the Bhagavat Son is risen, person Bhagavat, book Bhagavat. And Guru Maharaj said, and now you can go there and preach successfully. And the devotees, we looked at each other like, that was Guru Maharaj's way of like inspiring us. And so that history there. So when Srila Gurudev got this newspaper article, after he sent the deities, Saparikar Sri Sri Guru Gauranga Radha Madhava Sundarju, they're established in Petersburg, because there was also this history that there's a hidden treasure in Lakta, right? So you see people with minesweepers, and they're out there going in the sand, searching for the hidden treasure of Lakta. So I like to tell them, the hidden treasure of Lakta is Guru Gauranga Radha Madhava Sundar, and that temple there built by Vijay Raman Prabhu and Srila Adbhut Maharaj. That's the hidden treasure of Lakta. And designed by Srila Gurudev. You can see the famous picture of him with Srila Adbhut Maharaj. He's taking his lati, his cane, and he's showing where the corners will be, the foundations, and it was precise what he walked out. So after that, and I just like to say that you were there for that installation too, and he brought Sripad Bhakti Prapanna Tirtha Maharaj to do the installation, because Gurudev said, I'm thinking one Brahmin boy, right? And Tirtha Maharaj, he's such a Brahmin boy, he brought his own cow dung and cow urine because he thought maybe it won't be available. So he traveled with that, and he came fully prepared. Summit Pani Srotriam Brahmanism. When you approach, you should come prepared. So he's prepared, and the beautiful installation was there. And there's the Vijay Vigraha of Mahaprabhu also on the side, holding a garland. And Gurudev, he said once, he's saying, "Who come and take this garland of Krishna Prem?" So Gurudev was very happy about that. But later, returning to India, there was an article in the local English newspaper about the temple in Lakta. And the title was, Chaitanya Temple on Lenin's Doorstep. Very clever. Chaitanya Temple on Lenin's Doorstep. And a glowing, beautiful article. Gurudev had it cut out, and where he sat in Calcutta, his table and his desk, on the side, this little glass bookcase and taped there where he could always see that. Chaitanya Temple on Lenin's Doorstep. So that was a triumph for all Krishna-loving people to say. And this former so-called seat of atheism for this temple of Guru Gauranga Radha Madhava Sundar to be established. And I used to think when we would go for programs in the city, we would drive by the ship, the Aurora, and that's connected with that revolution. I thought, oh, so 100 years later, near about, the Aurora, it means like the rising sun. So the rising sun of Krishna conception, and the same place, a little bit down from Lakta, this temple has appeared, something, and miraculous and extraordinary. So Srila Gurudev would give all the credit to Srila Bhakti Bimal Avadhut Maharaj and the father of the Father Russian Mission, Vijay Raman Prabhu, but they would give all the full credit to Srila Gurudev and say, by a drop of his divine mercy, this is their ongoing attempt to serve his holy lotus feet, and the miracle continues with so many centers. And we know wherever Srila Adbhut Maharaj goes, there's always a festive atmosphere, and many people come together and join in celebration of Krishna conception. and I'll just conclude with this, and Lalita, you can say something next, is that one time when we were there, Avadhut Maharaj went with some devotees. They were on their bus or something broke down near the local circus. And Maharaj preached to all of those people. I was with Srila Gurudev in the afternoon in Lakta. When the repairs were there, he brought the entire group with him, all the performers. That was the afternoon veranda darshan of Srila Gurudev, is all of these performers came to see him. So even when something appeared to be a mishap, like if something went wrong, he converted it into a preaching opportunity. And some of you have made in the last few days, same thing in Turkey, where they are now, they're doing full dome activities there, but then we see with Murali Mohan, Sudhamoy, in a 450-year-old village, they're doing a preaching program there. So Srila Bhakti Bimal Avadhut Maharaj, Avirbhav Maha Mahotsavati Ki Jai. Bhakti Lalita Devidasi.
So, this is a very happy day for all of us. So many disciples of Srila Adbhut Maharaj are assembled here and serving here day and night in this beautiful ashram that was built with the loving hands and dedication and sacrifice of Srila Adbhut Maharaj and his team of devotees like Haridasi and Ananga, and the team in Moscow who helped finance this whole project and giving us such shelter and service engagement on a golden plate. And so thankful for everything Srila Adbhut Maharaj has done for us, not only here, but everywhere, practically in the world, in Russia, in Ukraine, in Abkhazia, in Latvia, and Los Angeles, China, Canada, everywhere, Turkey, some parts of Europe, and so grateful to be a part of this family and to have such a wonderful brother and friend as Srila Bhakti Bimal Avadhut Maharaj. So very grateful. Not a day goes by I forget where I'm getting my shelter, my prasadam, my service opportunities is from him. He saw that he says often that you guys had nowhere to go. So I made some place for you to go and to be and to have your service continue after Srila Gurudev's departure. So what a friend that is, and what a brother that is. And it's always astonishing to see his capacity, how much he can take on, how much responsibility for the service of Gurudev and Mahaprabhu, the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. And sometimes for us, taking a little responsibility is uncomfortable. It's stressful. Take care of one person, two person. We're talking about thousands of devotees that Srila Adbhut Maharaj is taking care of, maintaining, providing food and shelter and service and employment and as needed to continue the mission, bringing everyone in. Especially, we've seen so many times him just grabbing someone off the streets and empowering them to become somebody very responsible and great in the service of Shri Guru and Gauranga. So, such a generous-hearted, loving personality, so proud to have you as my brother and friend in this world, and grateful for everything he's given us all. And just one memory, as Maharaj was giving so much history about Russia, and I once was sitting with Madhusudan Maharaj at that time, Mahananda Prabhu. We were listening to his shortwave radio in Navadvip. And he flipped to BBC Radio, International, BBC International. And as he tuned in, Georgy Aistov was being interviewed from Moscow. And it was about the opening of a vegetarian restaurant in Russia, in like meat-eating communist culture. And the interviewer was saying, like, how is this possible? Like, how do you think you're going to succeed? And Avadhut Maharaj was there answering, and he said, 2 negatives make a positive. And here we are seeing that people are very enthusiastic. They're ready to listen to philosophy and to truth and to embrace a life of service. And so we're seeing that this facility and this opportunity is being well received in meat-eating communist Russia. And, you know, everything's possible, and never to fear, and to go forward with the truth. And we know it's not just a vegetarian restaurant, but it was established as like a first flag point in Moscow, in the heart of Moscow, to make some in to the culture of the people of Moscow, and how successful that was. And from that one restaurant came so many. I don't know how many are now, but with Avadhut Maharaj and his team of devotees like Yadu Krishna Prabhu and Rasa Didi and so many others, everything has continued and survived even in recent crises, still going on without hesitation. So there's so much to be grateful for and thankful for, and this day we're just beginning our celebrations. It will continue all day, and then we'll meet with Maharaj at 1:30 Moscow time on Zoom. He'll be there, and we'll continue. But now maybe some disciples would like to say something here. Just about everybody here could say something. We had...
Jai Gurudev. I'm definitely no one and have no qualification to glorify Srila Adbhut Maharaj, but I just wanted to express, my endless gratitude to him. And just when Bhakti Lalita was recalling all his pastimes, and I'm one of those who Avadhut Maharaj calls crazy babushkas. I came from this Jagai Madhai background, and as it's been mentioned, in Russia, if you don't eat meat and you don't drink vodka, there's got to be something seriously wrong with you. People would be suspicious. So, as you can imagine, for Srila Adbhut Maharaj, what he did to in Russia, in Ukraine, in many other post-Soviet countries is absolute miracle, and is millions and millions of people he distributed prasadam to, millions and millions of people heard holy name thankfully to him, and it keeps going. I just wanna, share when I first time saw Srila Adbhut Maharaj at Kiselnik. I had this moment of like everything was melting. The reality was melting. It was like completely LSD kind of effect, but just Srila Adbhut Maharaj and the deities and the altar. And I was like looking around, does everyone sees it? Everyone else sees it? And from that moment, it was very obvious for me that, there's something really, out of this world that this person is carrying. And I'm trying to stick to that, to my limited capacities, but I'm very, very grateful for this opportunity to glorify him in this auspicious day. Thank you. Anyone else? Jai Gurudev.
Drugoi Mir is a place we used to go in Petersburg for programs.
Jai Srila Adbhut Maharaj. I don't know which language we should speak. I speak English, but everything that you said before, I feel it. I feel so grateful, and sometimes so grateful that I can't even. It's such a miracle that we all here because of him, actually, and we save so many people are safe now, even in Ukraine. During the war, they're under the shelter of Avadhut Maharaj, and doesn't matter where he is, he takes care of so many people every day. It's insane, because he doesn't sleep sometimes. He just constantly on a call. Sometimes we need to discuss something, and we think, okay, if we close to him, like we sit every day with him and just waiting, we'll have a chance. But no, sometimes we can spend the weeks together and don't have a chance to talk, because he's constantly with someone and taking care of everyone. And I don't know, such a big heart, and I feel so blessed and grateful to him and Vilas. My husband, we discuss sometimes and share that between us. And I just want to say that I hope that Avadhut Maharaj knows how we appreciate him. That he knows how we appreciate him and feel that we all very waiting for him. It's such a joy when he's around and we're around him. Everything becomes so festive, as Goswami Maharaj said. So, yeah, I love this feeling. And Harinams with Avadhut Maharaj, always so ecstatic. I don't remember anything. I don't understand where I am. I'm just singing and dancing because he makes us to dance. Don't just move. So we move. We just saw this picture from St. Petersburg Harinama where it is wind. I remember this, weather when it's wind, rain, snowing at the same time, and we're Harinaming on the Nevsky Prospect. Wonderful times, I'd say. So yeah, Jai Srila Adbhut Maharaj ki Jai.
Yes, and it is said, Guru Maharaj quote Vrindavana's Thakur, that one man feeds himself, and there's another man who feeds himself and hundreds of others. He's that second man. Can speak in Russian too if you want. Sankarshan. When is It's okay to show the equipment in the picture.
Да, я, наверное, буду говорить на русском. так будет, наверное, как-то свободнее прославлять Махараджа. Это, конечно, удивительная возможность быть здесь, несмотря на все, что происходит в мире, да и вообще быть выдернутым из океана материального существования в какой-то момент. Это, такое ощущение, как будто в какой-то момент действительно оказаться спасенным. Потому что когда оказываешься в семье преданных, когда оказываешься у стоп Гурудева, у стоп человека, которому можно действительно доверить свою жизнь, в смысле отдать свою жизнь. И в такой момент понимаешь, насколько это невероятно ценная возможность, которая несоизмерима ни с чем, что мы можем прожить в материальной жизни, в материальном мире. И сейчас быть здесь и прославлять Его, и служить Ему тем малым, чем можем, это невероятная удача, конечно. И я думаю, сейчас это только заря того, что потом будет прославляться и о чем будет говориться в истории, потому что он приехал в Россию, вернулся и практически в одиночку с отцом и несколькими единомышленниками собрал такую огромную семью, которая сейчас уже в нескольких странах, в нескольких храмах, в десятках центрах продолжает служение Говинде Махараджу, Шридару Махараджу. И, в общем, прославлять его можно, конечно, бесконечно. Так что джай, Срила Бхакти Бимал Авадхут Махарадж ки джай.
I can talk a little.
Yeah.
Jai Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Bimal Avadhut Maharaj ki jai. Jai Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Once in 2005, I came to a Hare Krishna festival in Zaporizhia, and first day it was very strange. I saw Srila Goswami Maharaj with Muralishwar in some dark room, preaching to only babushkas was sitting there. It was very strange lecture about all education of this world is wrong. Everything should stop and give proper conception. And I was not agree at that time, but next day when I came, it was like lectures of Goswami Maharaj on the bench, on the street with only devotees, and it was very, very beautiful. Something touched my heart. And that day I thought that these are nice people to meet, but I have my own life, and went out to the train station. And while I walk into the train station, the bus came and stopped, and I see Avadhut Maharaj Kanu, and they said, "Hey guy, we saw you on a festival. Where are you going? Let's come with us." "Are you going to train station?" "Yes, we can bring you to the train station." And while I driving on this car, Avadhut Maharaj said, "Come on, we have so many things going on. We have festivals, we have many interesting things. Just be in touch with Kanu, be in touch with that guy, give your number of phone." And in few minutes he grabbed my attention completely. So it's literally I was found in the forest. He catch me out of forest and bring to the family of devotees. And next thing, where so many things I can't express, but next thing I remember, it's Ethnoland Festival in Moscow. Huge festival, a lot of people's, really huge. And there is one concert every weekend, is a different culture concert on the huge stage. And I was just helping Kanu with like chapatis, food. And I see Avadhut Maharaj. Hey, I saw you. I remember you are some kind of musician. Yes. Come on, let's go. I have something for you. And he bring me to the main stage and said, sound guy is drunk and sleeping somewhere. And now we have sound check and concert this evening. Are you able to do something? And I said, no, I never do this before. Okay, you will do this. I'm pretty sure you will complete this. And this was my first day. I never do this before. I should do sound check for like band. And this evening I did the concert. And Avadhut Maharaj at that evening was nearby me and okay, let's do this. And he just inspired me all that day. And at the end of the day, it was huge kirtan on the stage, and Maharaj was dancing and like jumping till the skies. And after all that day, I remember it's small group of devotees sitting in like small family like, mood and talking about Krishna. It was late of the night, like maybe 12, 10, 15 persons. I saw them all day running across the festival, doing so many things. I just can't understand how it's possible because everybody is tired all day, like from 5 o'clock in the morning till the deep night, and they talking about Krishna. It was astonished. And all this life is going on and just by his mercy, and he gave me connection to Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Maharaj. He gave me connection to Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj. He gave us such a beautiful family of devotees. And my only hope that we able to serve him properly, to be his instruments in his arms. Jai Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Bimal Avadhut Maharaj ki jai.
Joy. Hare Krishna. Right. There you go. He's still wired.
Хари Кришна, всем дандаваты. Ну, yes, speak Russian. It's easier for me. Я, тоже впервые встретила Авадхута Махараджа на Кисельном. До этого был какой-то опыт в Искон. Но когда я увидела Авадхута Махараджа, вот все пространство, которое было там заполнено, вот эта темная алтарная и он для меня как бы предстал на Вьясасане в лучах света, потому что я захожу, там все темно, а на него как бы, то ли лампочка, то ли какая-то съемка была, я не знаю. В общем, вот как-то так запомнился, что он в этом в ореоле света, и меня как-то понесло, расплавило прям там. И что можно сказать, что просто после этого вся жизнь моя поменялась. Вот. Это, наверное, такое самое глубокое переживание, которое оставило какой-то неизгладимый след.
Hare Krishna.
Джай Гурудев. Я коротко тоже скажу, что это личность, которая может прикоснуться к душе. И нашим несовершенным действиям Махарадж, наш Гурудев, придает какой-то совершенный смысл и направление. И мы очень рады, что наша жизнь обретает хоть какой-то смысл. Джай Гурудев.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, I will say something, but I will say this, I think, in Russian too. Авадхут Махарадж — это удивительная личность, и, как уже ребята сказали, он может прикоснуться к душе и прикоснуться особенным образом. Мы в этом мире пришли сюда для того, чтобы получить некоторый опыт, и мы его получаем как обычные люди. Кто-то звукорежиссер, кто-то бухгалтер. Я, например, программист. И Авадхут Махарадж, он смог у каждого взять вот эту вот способность того, что он может делать в обычном мире, и развивать ее. То есть он замечательный продюсер, ну, помимо всего прочего. И вот это вот продюсирование он делает через раскрытие сердца человека. То есть он продюсер сердец. И это очень лично меня трогает. Поэтому Авадхут Махарадж, большое спасибо.
Hare Krishna.
How he changed your life.
I'll just
Sit right
yeah, because like it's nobody will see me because camera has different angle, but I just will say just that. Yeah, I just want to say that I'm really thankful to Avadhut Maharaj for everything what happened in my life while I met him, and he really like sweet challenger. I can call him like that because his challenges is very sweet and it's all unbelievable. Thank you. Jai Bhakti Bimal Avadhut Maharaj ki jai.
Jai, Hare Krishna. All right. Okay. So we need part of the team. Sankarshan, it's time. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajaka Charja Sateras of the Srimad Srila Bhakti Bimal Avadhut Maharaj ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Bimal Avadhut Maharaj Avir Bhav Mahamahotsavatiti ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Jai Saparikar Sri Sri Guru Gauranga Radha Govinda Sundar ki Jai. Sri Giriraj Govardhan ki Jai. Sri Gupta Govardhan ki Jai. Go Premanande.
Flowers here.
Padma,
Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jai Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jai Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakshakshidhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jai Vishnupad Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Guru Parampara ki jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Madhacharya Vrinda ki jai. Vyasa Vrinda ki jai. All devotees ki jai. Jai Gaur Premanande Hari.
Bhakti Bimal Avadhut Maharaja Avirbhav Mahamahotsav ki jai. Om Premanande Hari. Vijay Raman Prabhu ki jai. Tulsi, his mom, Tulsi Devi, Tulsi Devi ki jai. Sacha Sundar Prabhu ki jai. Madhavi Devi ki jai. Hare Krishna. Ram Lakshman Prabhu ki jai. The Abhazya Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Pritu Prabhu and Lakta ki jai. Sandeep and Maheshri. And New Hastinapur, Greater Hastinapur. There's Jai Bhakti Asrai Dandi Maharaj, Ki Jai, Praneshri Didi, doing the Espanol translation, Ki Jai. Indumukhi and Mitra Binda. Wow, Mitra Binda participating in everything. Jai. Ajita and Kiselni, Dhanavad, thank you for your editing on the videos. Both of them are good. So, right? I think both. I mean, they can play one day, one the other day, right? Gokula Taruni Didi, Dandavat. Leela Sundari Didi in Moscow, Dandavat. Tarun in Moscow, Dandavat. Ananda Nidhi Prabhu in Crimea, Dandavat. Serving very nicely. Jai Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj. And he's in London town, with the Mat Secretary Devashish Prabhu, Hare Krishna, in the rain gray town, London town, but the sun is shining. Hare Krishna. It's very meaningful for someone from the British Isles to say that the sun never sets on the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. Hare Krishna. Jai, Seva Rupa Didi in South Africa, Dandavat. Pavel Barun Prabhu in Moscow, Dandavat. Anandita Didi, Dandavat. Ooh. Yeah. What is it? I can't read it. Paramananda Prabhu in Japan, Dandavat. Narayani Didi, Dandavat. Namachintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. Purnakshudho Nityam Mukto Abhinatvan Namano Devidasi in Kiev, Dandavat. Sri Govinda Ashram, Dandavat. Rasananda Prabhu, Dandavat. On the move, devotional movement. Hare Krishna. Gupta Govardhan kitchen, I imagine. Hare Krishna. Nirupama Dandavat. Sulakshana is here, Sankarshan Prabhu here, Dhananjaya Prabhu, Dandavat, Prafula Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat, Nadia Priya Didi in Ukraine, Dandavat, Dharani Sundari Didi, Dandavat, Malati Didi, Dandavat, Jivana Didi, Dandavat, Gora Chandra Prabhu in Nadhotka, Dandavat, Maria in Kharkiv, Dandavat, Gunali Didi, Dandavat, Gadadhar Das, Dandavat, Premanandini Didi, Dandavat, Premanandana Nandani Didi. Radha Raman Prabhu in UK, Dandavat, Dibya Shakti Didi, Dandavat, Nadia, Dandavat, Subal, Dandavat, Kalindi Priya, and Dandavat, Suresh Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat, devotional movement, Madhavi Lata Didi, and that's a Dandavat. Anyone? Nalini, Nayani, and Moscow, Dandavat. Hare Krishna. Is that everyone? I think so. Right. Vancha kalpa tribhyascha kripa sindhu bevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Bhakti Bimal Avadhut Maharaj Avirbhav Mahamahutavititi ki jai. Nitai go Primanande.